$90 in your cart. One tap, pay in 4. And tonight it costs you nothing. No interest, no fees, no catch. And that feeling of nothing? It has been measured in a laboratory. Nobody builds a company this big on favors. Klarna's entire business model exists to manufacture that feeling because the feeling is the product. This is how Klarna really makes its money. And by the end, you'll know whose money actually paid for your free loan. There's a decent chance it belongs to a retiree in Germany who has never heard your name. Here's the story you've been sold. Credit cards are the villain. Sneaky interest, revolving debt, fine print with teeth. And Klarna is the friendly Swedish rebel who split your payment into 4 painless pieces and asked for nothing in return. It's a beautiful story. It's also the wrong story, because the whole time you've been staring at the wrong customer. And if you think this is some niche European app, look at what happened in March of 2025. Walmart, the most American retailer on earth, dropped Affirm, its financing partner of 6 years, and handed Klarna the exclusive right to lend to its customers. Affirm's stock fell as much as 15% in a single morning. That's not a startup winning a contract, that's a coronation. Today, that Swedish company sits inside the checkout of more than 1 million stores, in front of 119 million shoppers. Buy the sneakers now, pay in 4 chunks, 0 interest, which leaves one glaring question. If you're borrowing money for free, who on earth is paying for it? Follow the money. Start in a laboratory at Harvard Business School, where researchers Marco Di Maggio and Emily Williams tracked what happens to people the moment they start using buy now, pay later. Their spending jumps by about $130 a month, and it stays up for 6 months. Their shopping baskets grow around 10%, and nearly half of them spend 10 to 40% more than they would have spent using a card. Not more than they planned, more than the exact same person spends with a credit card in their hand. That is the product, not the loan, you. So now the store's behavior makes sense. When you tap pay in 4, Klarna wires the merchant every cent instantly and eats the risk that you never pay. For that, the store hands over roughly 30 cents plus about 3 1/3% of the sale. A credit card already costs that store money. Swipe a Visa and the merchant loses somewhere around 2 to 3%. So Klarna isn't a wild outlier. It's just noticeably more expensive every single time. And the store pays that premium happily, enthusiastically. It puts the Klarna button on its own checkout page and spends money advertising it. Picture the sales pitch. A boutique owner squints at the contract. 3.5%? My card terminal is cheaper than that. Why would I ever sign this? And the rep in the pink lanyard just smiles. Your card terminal processes your customers. We change them. You're not the customer. You're the conversion rate. Casinos cracked this code decades ago. Swap cash for chips and losses stop feeling like money. Klarna runs the same anesthesia at the checkout. Split one payment into 4, and what economists call the pain of paying quietly flatlines. 68% of buy now, pay later users admit it makes them overspend. Among Gen Z, 83%. The button isn't malfunctioning. The button is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and that is just the front door. Because to find the real machine, you have to go one level deeper, past the checkout, past the app, into the vault. Klarna is a bank. Not basically a bank, an actual licensed, regulated Swedish bank. And it has been since 2017. And banks run the oldest business model on earth. Gather deposits cheaply. Lend that money out for more. So while you were splitting sneaker payments, Klarna was quietly collecting billions in savings deposits from ordinary Europeans. Retirees, savers, people parking a city. Nest egg for a decent interest rate in a country you've never lived in. 91% of the money Klarna lends now comes from those deposits, sitting still for an average of 270 days. There it is. Your interest-free sneakers were funded by somebody's retirement savings in Germany. And this is where it stops being clever and starts being audacious. Because Klarna isn't hiding the bank anymore. It's building one. In your country. In June of 2026, Klarna launched an American savings account, federally insured. No minimum. Paying over 3%. And this month, July of 2026, Klarna filed applications with the state of Utah and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to charter an actual American bank, Klarna Bank, so it can hold your deposits directly instead of renting somebody else's balance sheet. Read that sequence again. First, it handles your payments, then it holds your savings. Then it becomes the bank. The pink app that swore it wasn't like the banks is applying in writing to become one. And the revenue streams keep stacking. When shoppers slide out of Pay in 4 into Klarna's longer financing plans, real interest starts flowing. Miss a payment and late fees appear. Small ones, around $10. But the real money isn't in punishing you. The real money is in watching you. Klarna knows what 119 million people are about to buy, sometimes before they know it themselves. So it built a shopping mall inside its own app. And somewhere in Stockholm, a silent accountant called the algorithm writes down everything you hover over and sells that intent to advertisers. $190 million of advertising revenue last year. Then, in May of 2026, Klarna wired that entire catalog, over 100 million products, straight into ChatGPT. So when you ask an artificial intelligence what to buy, Klarna is quietly standing behind the answer. The checkout button became a media company. Then it became the shelf inside the machine you ask for advice. So this is how Klarna really makes its money. Merchants pay for your bigger basket. European savers fund your loan. Interest and late fees skim the edges. Advertisers buy your intentions. 4 revenue streams. You touch every single one of them. You see none of them. Now for the final boss numbers. Last year, $127.9 billion of shopping flowed through Klarna's pipes. This year, it's accelerating. More than $1 billion of revenue in a single quarter, with American revenue growing 67%. And the profit, after all that genius, $65 million for the entire year. An operating margin of 1.9%. 1.9. The machine is colossal and razor thin, which is exactly why it can never stop growing, never stop nudging, never stop making spending feel like nothing. And Wall Street noticed. Klarna listed on the New York Stock Exchange in September of 2025 at $40 a share. It opened at $52. By the middle of this year, it was trading around $70. The company that spent 20 years making borrowing feel weightless could not make its own shares hold their weight. Even the executives got optimized along the way. Sebastian Siemiatkowski, the founder, boasted that Klarna's AI assistant was doing the work of 700 human agents, then quietly started rehiring humans a year later, admitting they'd cut too deep. And somewhere in between, he delivered an entire quarterly earnings presentation as an AI-generated clone of himself. What could possibly go wrong? Spoiler, even the machine's operators weren't safe from the machine. Now, 2 things changed recently that you genuinely need to know. For years, these loans were invisible. They didn't touch your credit score at all. You could carry 6 of them and no lender would ever see it. That ended in the fall of 2025, when FICO began folding buy now, pay later data into its scoring models. The debt nobody could see now leaves footprints. And then the fine print that almost nobody reported. In May of 2025, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau stopped enforcing the rule that treated these loans like credit cards. Then it withdrew the rule entirely, arguing the rule was procedurally flawed and that credit card regulations were a clumsy fit for a loan you pay off in 6 weeks. Maybe that's fair. Reasonable people can argue it. But look at what walked out the door with it. The standardized disclosures. The formal dispute investigations. The refund protections, gone. So the loans became visible to lenders at the exact moment they became less policed for you. Which brings us to the only question that actually matters. Can you beat it? On paper, yes, and the playbook is refreshingly short. Treat every installment like a bill, not a discount. Never stack loans on top of loans. And never let that button whisper that $90 is really just $22.50. But look at what people actually do. 47% of users paid late in the past year, and that number climbs every single year. 63% have juggled multiple loans at once, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's own research found that the heaviest users are precisely the people already stretched thin on their credit cards. The house edge here isn't math, it's psychology. The system doesn't need you to fail, it just needs you to feel nothing at the precise moment feeling something would have saved you. And the strangest part of this whole story, nobody lied to you. The interest really is zero. The button really is smooth. Every mechanism in this video is legal, disclosed, and frankly, brilliant. That's exactly why it's worth understanding. The most effective machines for redirecting your money don't pick your pocket. They redesign the moment of paying until your own brain does the work for them. $90 in your cart, one untap. Tonight, it still costs you nothing. But now you know, nothing is the most expensive feeling money can buy. If this changed the way you look at Klarna, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, because next week, we follow the money somewhere you'd never expect. And if you enjoyed this one, leave a like. It genuinely helps the channel more than you think. See you in the next one.